G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you're having a fantastic day, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn to the Barbie. Let's get right into it. Posted by user SimplePart187, titled, Am I the asshole for telling my daughter that I'm disappointed in her? Hello all. It's been rough with my only daughter as of late. My husband and I, both of us are 55, have one daughter who is 30 female. We have been married coming up on 32 years soon. My daughter was in a long relationship and married for approximately 9 years, and for a long time I thought this was a good relationship, when out of nowhere, around 3 years ago, she decided to divorce her ex-husband. We were told that it was a mutual decision, but that ultimately, he wasn't the greatest partner, and there were many things that she was not satisfied with in their relationship, so she wanted to leave. We supported her decision. About a year after the divorce, she introduced us to her new boyfriend, and while my husband and I thought it may be a bit too early to date, we decided to continue to support and meet him. He was, and is, a very charming man who treats our daughter wonderfully, and you can tell she is extremely happy. Now to the argument. Recently, we were talking with one of our daughter's friends who was visiting our town, and we were discussing our daughter's job and her wonderful boyfriend. Her friend in the conversation made a comment about how they were lucky to be in the same orientation together when they started work. As soon as she saw our confused faces, she gave us the full story, as she realized we hadn't been given it. Our daughter had told us while her and her boyfriend worked for the same employer, they didn't meet until after the divorce. We pressed the friend for more information, and she begrudgingly told us that our daughter and her boyfriend had met during orientation at work while our daughter was going through her marital issues. This led to them becoming closer and her filing for divorce from her ex-husband about a year later. So later that day, I asked to have a conversation with my daughter and brought up what her friend had told us. She turned white as snow, basically confirmed her friend's story, but reiterated that there was no physical cheating. I told her that physical cheating was not the only way that you could hurt someone, and that it appeared that she had emotionally cheated on her ex-husband. He may not have been the greatest person, but it didn't excuse her actions. I told her that I was disappointed in her, and while I supported her leaving a bad marriage, that I couldn't look at her and her boyfriend the same in this new light in regards to cheating. I still love her and will treat her boyfriend with respect, but it is definitely something that I have a hard time looking past. She got angry with me for not continuing to support her in her journey beyond divorce. Am I the asshole? I guess this is a very hard one to tackle. It does seem as though there's a lot of missing reasons going on. I feel as though this relationship that formed between them was a moral gray zone. The way that you structure this post and the way that you talk about her and her relationship, it seems as though you are very quick to judge and not really truly see where she's coming from. So I guess it's a bit of you're the asshole for this one. In the comments, Amp Rose says, based on how judgmental you come across in this post, it's no wonder your daughter doesn't open up and talk to you about most things. It sounds like she never truly confided in you with her marital issues, especially since you were shocked when she went to get a divorce. Quote, out of nowhere, around 3 years ago, she decided to divorce her ex-husband. That being said, you have no idea how bad things were for her, or what she was really going through leading up to that, and if she had a coworker that she could confide in and that supported her, that's great. She deserves to have someone there who she could. Marriages end long before the divorce is even requested most of the time, and if that friendship and support turned into something more after, then good for her. You're her mother. You can be disappointed and think you know better all you want, but pulling your support from her and talking down to a grown adult woman? You're the asshole. She may be your child, but she isn't a child anymore. It's her life, and she deserves to be happy. Sky Corrigan says, I completely agree with you. I also find it funny that people will say, hey, if you meet someone outside of your relationship and you start having feelings for them, don't cheat. Just leave your partner. Apparently people don't feel that way. It's a no-win situation, and also OP thinking waiting a year to date someone is too soon is lol to me. Speaking Knight says, yeah, I think timing and intentions is the important thing here. I've heard a guy before say that he's going to leave his girlfriend, but only wait till he meets a new girl to do it. Almost like he didn't want to be alone for some reason. That I find terrible. The girl has no idea and is wasting her time in life with someone who wants to leave her. But if the timing of divorce happens to coincide with meeting someone new soon after, not much to do there or feel guilty about. One day I was at the pool with my son and got to talking to this man. I found myself not wanting him to know that I was married, and that's when it hit me that my marriage, which had been rocky for years, was probably over. I didn't do anything with that guy, but I did get divorced. Took me way longer than it should have. Point being, it could well have been that OP's daughter was in a bad marriage, met this guy she realized would be so much better, and that gave her the impetus to realize her marriage was over. Hurricane Bells says, "You're the asshole. It's not your business. She isn't 20 years old. I'm 42 and I don't really give a damn about my mother's opinion. Keep heading in that direction, won't you?" Even if she were 20, it wouldn't be her parents' business. It stopped being their business who she dates and why when she turned 18. And 18 is about when the daughter married. Now 30, divorced 3 years ago, married 9 years. OP, you're the asshole. Stay out of it. While emotional cheating is a thing, you have no evidence that it took place. Added to that, I'd question why your daughter wouldn't go to you for support when her husband was mistreating her. And now, onto the update. Answering some common questions from all of you. 1. Yes, my daughter got married at 18. Her ex-husband was also 18 at the time. Me and her father did not think that getting married that young was a good idea, but we supported her as she was an adult. 2. I did not have a good understanding of what the marital problems my daughter was experiencing were, but she confirmed that there was no abuse from her ex-husband. 3. She has always been a very private person, but that has never been an issue as she has always been honest with us. On to the update. I received many messages and comments from you all, and I do appreciate the advice and wisdom that you all gave. I think the thing I struggled with the most was being lied to. I felt hurt that my daughter didn't want to tell me the truth, but I realized that this discussion wasn't about me. So I asked my husband for advice, and he recommended my daughter and I sit down together and talk it out. My daughter agreed to talk to me with the condition that my husband mediate. My daughter started the conversation with that she didn't tell us about the true story about her boyfriend for 2 main reasons. 1. She was worried about being judged by me, and I confirmed her theory. Hearing this made my heart so sad, to see that my own daughter was worried about my judgment. 2. My daughter admitted that she was ashamed for how things went down with her divorce. She and her ex were going through some rough times, her work schedule being crazy, and her husband being depressed contributed. She met her then boyfriend during this time, and confided in him about this. Before she knew it, she was texting him every day, and even going to his house to hang with him and her friends. She realized at that time she was wrong. So she filed for divorce, and they started officially dating the day after her divorce was final. She again said she didn't physically cheat, but admitted that she was not proud of how her marriage ended. The conversation then went to my side. I reiterated that I supported her and her boyfriend. He is a kind and nice man, and he treats her well, and that I loved her unconditionally. I apologized for how I acted and asked if she could forgive me. She accepted my apology and did tell me that while my words hurt, I'm still a good mother, and that my love that I've given her and her boyfriend has been consistent, and that my actions spoke to that. We agreed to go to some family therapy together in the future to continue to work out these feelings. We cried, hugged, and I think things will be okay. People can screw up, including myself, as my last post shows, but ultimately, good people will always be welcome in my home, and I never plan on changing that. In the comments, that Sloth Duke says, Reddit is effing weird. She did have an emotional affair with another dude while she was in a relationship. The mother was disappointed in it, and people just jumped to defend the kid? Really? Being disappointed because your daughter had an emotional affair is a bad thing now? Not only that, but she admitted that she started hanging out with the guy full-time before she was divorced. Psh. She wasn't happy in her marriage. She met someone she liked. She realized her marriage wasn't going to work out. She left her husband and started dating the person she loves. It happens. What was she supposed to do? Stay in an unhappy marriage so that the internet won't judge her? People fall out of love and in love with other people all the time. The only way she would be the villain is to stay in her marriage. She left so that she wouldn't have an emotional affair once she realized what her feelings were. Marriage usually implies commitment to another person, even if you're busy with work and your spouse is depressed. If you don't think there's any worth to keeping commitments like that, then yes, the daughter made the right choice, and when she falls out of love with her new husband, she can do it again. If your own personal happiness is the most important thing to you, marriage probably isn't the right thing for you. I don't think she's been convinced she was wrong, as per title. More, it's been confirmed that her worst suspicions were correct, but she's had to force herself to accept that. Well, the new information she got didn't paint a better picture of her daughter. She was stressed at work, her husband was depressed. Instead of trying to change the situation at work or trying to help her husband with his depression, she cheeks out of the relationship with a fun new work friend. OP is right. It might not be physical cheating, but her daughter abandoned the relationship as it got hard and her husband needed help. As far as we know, according to the information we got. Unpopular opinion, but I don't think you should force yourself to stay in a relationship you don't like anymore just because you feel sorry for the other person. I've been through severe anxiety disorder and some other health issues, and my partner stuck around because he loved me and he wanted to be with me. But if he wasn't in love with me anymore, I would want him to leave, so I could heal and eventually find someone more compatible. I don't think that a lengthy relationship is inherently a successful one, if both people don't feel happy and in love. Yes, abandon ship at the first difficulty if that's the kind of person you are, or if this relationship is not inspiring you to stick around. We shouldn't expect anyone to stay with us out of pity, nor should we want that. There is a lot of people up threads saying that she should have helped her husband through this depression, but the original posts are all told second-hand and give no context for how severe or long-lasting his depression was. I don't think that she handled things well, but I also don't think we know enough to declare her as someone who flaked at the first sign of difficulty. For all we know, it's been going on for years and she got to the end of her rope. Sometimes all the help in the world won't fix someone's mental health problems, even if you're both trying your best. How long are you supposed to keep helping for if you are miserable and nothing is getting better? A year? 5 years? 25 years? This is probably going to get me some hate, but I was almost in her shoes once. I was in a relationship with someone who started struggling with depression a year after we started dating. I did everything I could to help, got him to therapy, doctor's appointments, did more around the house. I forgave him treating me like a nursemaid because I told myself it was short-term and things would get better. But they didn't, and 6 weeks turned into 6 months and into 6 years. The only thing that woke me up to how miserable I'd become was getting a crush on a close friend. Suddenly, I saw all the ways that I'd neglected myself because I was determined not to be someone who just abandoned their depressed boyfriend. There was no cheating for me. I never even told the friend about the crush, and it faded quickly once I realized it really wasn't about them, but about missing feeling cared for and human. But I could see someone else in those circumstances choosing to end the relationship to act on that crush, and I'm not sure I could condemn them for it entirely. Yeah, seems like a very contentious issue, this one. I can see arguments for both sides, as have been argued here. And as I say, it's a bit of a moral grey area. Without the entire story and without both sides, it's very hard to make a solid judgment on these situations. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think of this one. Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user ThrowRA5998, titled, I, 32 female, am invited to join a get-together with 3 other women, female 30+, and don't know how to behave or act. Hello there. So I, 32 female, got invited to go to a get-together with 3 other women, 30+, their spouses, all male 30+, and their kids. Which sounds lovely, but is kinda my personal nightmare fuel right now. 3 years ago, I moved into a very, very rural area for my soon-to-be ex-husband. Shortly after moving, my car broke down, and I didn't have the money for a new one. Since then, I practically stayed at home all day. The only time I'm out of the house is to bring my son to kindergarten, bring him home, or when I need some groceries that I can buy in the very small shop here in the village. My social interactions were limited to some info exchanges with the teachers, sometimes another parent who wanted small talk, or the lady at the bakery who likes to gossip. Making friends was hard, as everyone here seems to always be busy. 6 months ago, I met this woman who we will call Jane. I don't talk to her on a daily basis, and we haven't exchanged numbers. She works at this small shop. Every time I buy something, we would chat a bit, and last week, Jane invited me and my son to just have a fun day with her, 2 of her friends, their spouses, and the kids. So I accepted. This get-together is next week, and I'm constantly going from excitement to panic to pure joy to mental exhaustion. I've been kept locked up by my soon-to-be ex for 3 years. I have no clue how someone behaves around others. What are topics to talk about? What topics to avoid? Do you still shake hands when you meet someone new? Do I bring gifts? These and more questions are constantly on my mind. I would love to have some friends, and I don't want to ruin it. To be fair, I thought I ruined it already a month ago. She did me a favor, and as a thank you, I baked her some cookies. I handed them to her while doing a bow like someone would bow to a princess, and said, I couldn't do favor, so the least I can do is bake. She smiled, but I wanted to run away as fast as possible. I'm so awkward and just don't know how to be normal anymore. I appreciate every advice, even if it's just don't pick your nose. I'm desperate. Thank you for reading. In the comments, Fraser says, you sound genuinely lovely, and these people will be lucky to have you in their lives. I find the best topic of conversation in social situations are often the most basic. You just ask people how their week is going and share stuff that's going on with you. It can seem awkward or banal at first, but eventually you'll find things that resonate. Congratulations on leaving your ex who kept you locked up, and good luck with that next stage of your life. And OP replies, thank you so much. The basics sound good. I can do that without making awkward gestures. Should I ask her if I bring something? Baked goods or a salad or whatever? Or would that be rude since I was invited? I don't know if locked up was the right wording. Turns out he had money on the side and could have helped me with a car. He also always had something planned when I wanted to meet someone. He basically ruined upcoming friendships for me, and he insisted to buy groceries after work, so I couldn't even do the big grocery shopping and get a change of scenery. I'm glad he's out of my life. You seem very considerate, OP, so I'm sure you'll slip into the swing of things like riding a bike after a few years. Even if you're a little rusty, you won't fall off. But you asked for pointers, so here are my social tricks. As far as I know, gifts are always in fashion. Hell, it might not even need to be a gift per se. Depending on what the plan is, you could bring paper plates, cups, napkins, food, drinks. I'd check whether alcohol is frowned upon, and so on. Also, I noticed that people respond positively to those who consider their children, so bringing games, toys, kids' movies, etc. might be nice. Check people's allergies and/or dietary restrictions if you bring food. If you aren't sure, I'd skip it or bring a few well-labeled options. Being overly formal can confuse a lot of folks. That's probably why the cookie bow felt awkward. A handshake may come across as formal, distant, old-fashioned, so I'd skip it. Instead, greet people with a wave and as genuine a smile as you can muster. Then introduce yourself and your son and express gratitude for the invitation. Something like, hi, I'm OP, and this is my son, Prince Awesome. We're excited to be here. Thanks for the invite. I rarely initiate physical contact and prefer to see if someone else initiates it by opening their arms up for a hug or something like that. If they do, and if you feel comfortable, a one-armed side hug seems easy and breezy. If they offer a handshake, then reciprocate, because I have been wrong so many times. Feel free to put your nervous energy to good use by offering to help. If you're in someone's home, ask if you can help in the kitchen, with setting up the yard, or watching the kids for a bit. Don't go overboard though. Once or twice is enough. Anything more can seem insistent or avoidant, like you'd rather be busy than social. You're there for fun, not to reenact Cinderella. As for conversation, I've noticed that parents either love talking about their kids or crave adult topics. Do a little active listening to pass the vibe. You seem polite and attentive, so you don't have to initiate conversation if you have things to contribute to what other people are saying. Furthermore, I would not hide your divorce, but I wouldn't go into detail either. If someone asks, you can be brief and honest before redirecting. For example, no, I'm not married. Or at least I won't be once the divorce is finalized. I'm looking forward to a new chapter. What about yourself? Above all, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Jane wouldn't have invited you to mingle with her friends and children if she didn't like what she saw in you already. People won't dislike you once they get to know you. I'll wager they come away thinking of you as kind, considerate, and charmingly quirky. And now, on to the update. Thanks to those who gave me advice. It helped me a lot. I talked to my therapist about everything, and she basically said the same as the commenters. Be you. Be quirky. Who wants only boring friends when you could have someone who brings sunshine and fun into your day? So first things first, the get-together was cancelled. One of the women broke her leg, and everyone agreed to schedule it again after she's fine again. The day after my post, I asked Jane if I could have her number. Still awkward, I told her I won't call or write too much, and I would contact her for the get-together only. She laughed a sweet laugh and told me to contact her whenever I feel like talking about whatever I want. She would be happy because she considers me a friend. In my head, I was shrieking like a little fangirl. As we talked and texted for some days, she asked me if she could give a friend of hers my number. This friend is the other woman from their group, not the one with the broken leg. Shortly after agreeing, an unknown number texted me and introduced herself as Hannah. She didn't beat around the bush and asked if I wanted to come to her wedding. I asked if she was sure about that because a wedding is for family and friends. She wrote, "I am married already, but we didn't have a party. It was in the courthouse. We want to say our vows again and celebrate with loving people around us, family and friends. And, well, maybe we could be friends." We texted for a while, and she told me how good Jane speaks of me, that Hannah herself is a bit quirky, and she would love to have another quirky friend. I accepted the invitation. She told me the wedding will be at her farm, and she's looking forward to meeting me and my son there. She was also very understanding of my son's ARFID, and has no problems with me bringing some snacks for my son. I also promised to bring more so he could share if another kid wants some. All in all, I'm happy to meet new people soon and maybe make some more friends. And the best part is now I'm texting with two lovely women whenever they have free time, as they are both busy people. I'm glad that I posted on Reddit. It kind of gave me a confidence boost and I was able to ask Jane for her number. All I've experienced since then was pure happiness and joy. Thank you again for reading. Edit. Thank you so much for your stories, the wishes, and the awards. I didn't think this would be seen by many, and I just wanted to update for the people who read my first post, in case they were interested. I'm also glad that this update gave others hopes for their new friendships. It wasn't easy for me to ask for Jane's number, but so rewarding. I will update again after the wedding, which will be in roughly 3 weeks. There, I will get the chance to talk to the third lady for the first time and see Hannah in person. I'm so excited. In the comments, Mitten Minute says, "I am so proud of you for putting yourself out there. I empathize with you. I have always struggled to know how to behave around other women, especially when I really want to befriend them. You have broken the ice beautifully, and it sounds like Jane and Hannah are kind and welcoming people. I hope you enjoy the wedding and that these new friendships flourish." And OP replies, "Thank you so much. I still have a lot of work to do regarding myself. I still look at someone, think I would like to talk to that person, and then beat myself up with thoughts like, they have enough friends already, or out of my friendship league. Take my virtual hug. I'll cheer you on. You can do it." Control says, "You have no idea how much this story of someone over 30 making friends made my day. Seriously, a ray of sunshine. Congrats. There is absolutely no /s in this. As someone over 30, I firmly attest that making friends post-college is difficult for the quirkier of us." And OP says to that, "Thank you so much. It really is different. In school, you see others almost daily and just decide it works. And now you have to schedule work, appointments, family, etc. on both sides to have time." International Bad says, "OP got adopted by an extrovert. Good for her." I've never heard it referred to as this, lol, but I'm definitely the extrovert that adopts people where I live. Talking to others has always come super easily to me, and I also make it a point to learn and remember what folks are into. I love to do what I call friend matchmaking. Like, "Oh, you like to do blank? I'll have to introduce you to my friend blank." I'm also quick to cut people off who are rude or mean to others, so my roster of friends and acquaintances are all nice folks only. I really needed this wholesome post, goddamn. I love these women for opening their arms to OP and making her feel welcome. I was so afraid that it was going to end with, "Do you want to be your own boss? Let's talk about Amway." I met the sweetest lady at my work a few weeks ago, and she asked if I wanted to grab a coffee with her sometime. I tend to be a bit quiet like OP in the nervous to make friends department, but I figured, what's the worst that can happen? Amway. Amway was the worst case scenario, and that's exactly what I got. Who doesn't love some wholesome content? I'd love to know what you guys think of this one down in the comments below. Do let me know. And our next post is by user WanderingCat45, titled, "Would I be the asshole if I spoke to my in-laws directly about wanting their help more with our kids? My husband and I, 32 male and 34 female, have 2 children ages 21 months and 4 months. Naturally, this is a difficult and challenging season of our life. Any parent would understand that we are surviving, but not necessarily thriving. My in-laws sold their house, which is 3.5 hours away, and purchased a home 1.5 hours away, under the veil of being closer to us to be more actively involved grandparents to our 2 children. Since they've moved, we do not see them any more than we did when they lived 3.5 hours away. This breaks my husband's heart." Added, they decided this move on their own accord, and told us for months it was because they wanted to be closer to us, which was wonderful to hear, and we were excited for them to be closer for things like Grandparents' Reading Day, at daycare, or for being there for Christmas Day with our kids. I encourage him to ask them directly to come visit, or to come over XYX days that we are free, and encourage him to set up a plan with them so they know that we are wanting some help. 2 under 2 has certainly been taxing, and especially the last few weeks. Toddler tantrums, I've asked my husband to be more direct and tell his parents that we need some help and a break. He instead takes the passive approach of saying, if you're free and want to come visit, we'd love to see you, instead of a direct, we need help, can you come over? The in-laws have not taken him up on his offers to come visit. My husband is of the opinion that if they wanted to come see their grandkids, they would, so he will not beg or nag, which I don't disagree with. However, we are all at the end of our ropes, and some extra hands to help with the baby and entertain the toddler would be really helpful. Would I be the arsehole if I spoke to my in-laws directly about us wanting their help more? Additional context. We both have had several mental breakdowns in the last few weeks from overstress, frustration, and exhaustion. My family lives 1,500 miles away. We could hire a sitter or a doula, but this is enmeshed with my husband's desires for his parents to be more actively involved in our kids' lives. Edited to add, we are certainly not hoping for someone else to raise our kids. We are also not asking for them to come over and babysit. We are asking them to come spend time and maybe feed the baby for us while we tackle some chores or play cards with the toddler so he gets some more one-to-one attention. Edited, we are not looking for a babysitter, nor is our intent to leave them with our kids and we leave to go do our own thing away from the home. We are hoping/asking for them to come join in on our crazy on a Saturday for a few hours. Our kids are in daycare during the week, and we both work full-time. We are not looking for childcare solutions, just a little relief from the crazy on Saturday now and then. I'm also asking mostly because my husband wants to have his family help and is heartbroken they don't want to help more. We can totally hire someone easily. I'm asking how or if it is appropriate to tell them directly that we would like their involvement specifically. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. I feel like I would be the arsehole for intervening between my husband and his parents, that I may be crossing a line. I also feel that I may be opening a can of worms by creating confrontation with them and putting us further than we already are with getting help, but upsetting them. Unfortunately, I think that you guys have kind of dug your own grave in this situation, and that, yes, if they did want to come help you guys out, they would do it. I don't know why you continue to set yourself on fire defending your husband's pride and not just getting a sitter, babysitter, nanny, doula, whatever. Just do it. Just do it. It's obvious that the parents aren't going to come do it. You're going crazy trying to satisfy everyone, and I don't think it's worth it, and I think it's making the situation worse for everyone in the meantime. I'm going to have to say that you're the asshole for this one. In the comments, Parsimonious Salad says, "You're the asshole. You and your husband chose to have these kids. They are your responsibility. Your husband's approach with his parents is fine. If they want to help, they will initiate it. You are not entitled to anything from them, whatever your husband desires. As you said, you can hire a sitter, nanny, or whatever. Why do people with 2 under 2 think they are heroes that we owe our time to? It's maths. You're the asshole. Also, they chose to have the kids so close together, why should anyone else care?" People can't take care of one kid, and they decide to have a second one while the first one is a toddler, and then they ask for help from parents under the guise of visiting, who, unless have forced them to have kids, have no responsibility. You reap what you sow. She does not want to lie. She wants to explicitly ask them to come over and help with the children. Yes, you would be the asshole. Your in-laws aren't obligated to help you with your kids. If you need help, hire some help. You even say in the post that you're able to do so. It's sad that they don't want to come visit more, but I think your husband is taking the right approach. I don't see how making it clear what you actually want them to do is work, not just visit, is going to make visiting any more appealing to them than it seems to be now. OP replies, "Oh, that is a solid perspective. I didn't even think about that. Thank you. I'm glad I asked." For what it's worth, I disagree completely with the poster above. I think it's totally fine to ask family for help. They moved closer to you to help. It's obviously something they're in principle prepared to do, even if they might like the idea more than the practice. I don't think that you should go behind your husband's back, but I do think you should push him to be a bit more direct and at least invite them for a specific day, rather than a half-assed, "Oh, we're free X day if you're available." Even if he isn't prepared to say, "Hey, we're struggling and would really love it if you'd come over one day and maybe watch the kids so we can get some stuff done around the house," which I also think would be totally fine. Just one question though, did they move closer to help or make visits less strenuous for themselves? An hour and a half away isn't exactly just around the corner and definitely precludes dropping by unannounced, but is close enough to make it a day trip instead of an overnighter that a 3.5-hour drive would necessitate. Agreed. I get the impression that moving closer to be involved to the grandparents meant not having to miss on a birthday or family dinner because of the drive or planning to be near for future events like sporting games, recitals, etc., not necessarily involved in being an on-call nanny. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I would love to know what you think about this one down in the comments below. With that said, I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.